So I thought, well, okay, let's give this a shot. But I thought, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly. I don't want to sort of muck about it. I want to take it seriously. So let's look up the website. Let's look through some of the resources. Let's watch some videos. Let's, get led off onto YouTube and watch this and buy a book and read that and all that sort of thing. Not expecting at all, at any point in time, that it would do me any good. But it started working straight away. And even after the first few weeks, I'm thinking, this could have been anything. This is just a coincidence, But I thought, well, let's just keep writing it out and see what happens. And it kept working and it kept working. And by Christmas 2015, I've lost 10 kilos. And I think, this could be something worth hanging on to, So it sort of developed into a mindset of, well, I'll keep doing it for as long as it works, and we'll just see where I go. I couldn't set goals because I'd never been skinny, so I had no idea about what I was capable of becoming. So I just thought, well, let's just keep on doing it for as long as it works, and it just kept on working, and it never stopped.
So you chucked out the sugar, the grains and starches, and gone essentially on a very low carbohydrate diet?
Ultimately, yes. But I didn't go cold turkey because I didn't want to feel like I was putting anything to waste. Because my cupboards were still full of bread and jam and all that sort of thing. So I still had I still had a lot of the bad stuff, but I would gradually introduce the new stuff as I would learn more about it. Because at the beginning, I didn't really know what was low-carb food. What is it that I'm supposed to eat? So I had to give myself the time to learn about the various options. So it was a gradual transition over the course of a few weeks.
And just not to waste, you ate through the jam sandwiches that you had on hand sort of thing.
That's basically it. And so I thought, right, well, I'll run the bread down, and once it's gone, I just won't buy any more. And I've basically got until the bad stuff has run out for me to figure out some good options. So I transitioned into it over the course of about a month. And I know some people who go to low carb, they have this they have this experience where they drop a whole pile of weight initially, the water weight, and that never happened to me, I presume, because of my sort of gradual transition into it over a course of 4 to 6 weeks. But even then, I started October, come the new year, 2016, I was set to go. I was already underway. I've been at it for a couple of months, and let's just see how things go from here. And it just kept going for most of 2016. I remember getting to the period of about April 2016, about Easter of that year. By that time, I'd been low carbing for about 6 months. And in the 6 months prior to that, when I'd just been walking on its own, without the low carb, I'd lost 5 kilos. In the following 6 months, with walking plus low carb, I'd lost 26 kilos. That's a kilo a week for 6 months. And if I was to have made the assumption that maybe 5 of those kilos was maybe due to the walking again, since that's what happened with the walking on its own, then even taking those 5 kilos out of the equation, that made the low-carb diet more than 4 times as effective as the exercise had been. So people talk about the 80-20 rule, and that's clearly what seemed to be applying for me in this case. That was very much a case of the diet playing a good 80% plus of the role.
So then talk us through the rest of that year and then how you got to where you are in the mid-80s. That's still a massive amount.
Yeah, so I keep going. I was sort of at that point over the early stages of 2016. I thought, well, maybe now I can set some goals. My first goal, sort of January 2016, was to get back to 120 kilos because that was what I was when I left high school. And I was so proud of myself. Yay, I'm only 120 kilos. But it was still the smallest I'd been at that point in about 20 years. So it was something. And I kept going, and I thought, all right, let's see if I can make it to 110. Let's see if I can make it to 100. I thought, well, maybe 100 is about where things might start to level off. I want to keep going for as long as it works, but I assumed that at some point I'd just start to level off at some point naturally. So I just thought, 100 would be a nice round number. But to ever get to double figures still was just like a dream too far. But I kept going with it, and it just continued to work. And I was astonished at how long it continued to work. By the winter, was sort of about 8 months in, I'd lost 35 kilos. So it was still a kilo a week for about 8 months straight. And it was only then that it just started to level off. And by the spring, after low carbing for about a year. So October 2015 to 2016, I'd lost 45 kilos. And I thought, it'd be really nice if I could just, lose another 5 and say that I've lost 50 on a low carb diet. So I kept at it, and it took me another 3 months to lose that last 5, but I made it. I weighed myself New Year's Eve 2016, 82 kilos. Wow. I went from 132 to 82 in the space of 15 months.